Hi guys, I'm really excited to share this journal with you. This is a personal journal that I made for me for a specific occasion. And I learned a lot in terms of stretching my creativity. And I'm gonna try to tell you about why the journal is what it is and how I'm going to use it. And I'm gonna try to do it quickly, but I do hope you stick around to see the whole journal. This is Vicky, the literal crafter in Western New York. So I fell in love with my cover, and I'm not trying to brag, but for me to achieve this style was huge. So the numbers are not random. They are the dates of a crafting retreat I'm going to, April 9th through the 13th, 25. This definition of compendium was part of the welcome letter I received, and I just turned that into kind of a dictionary definition card. I chose to put Awaken, Grow, Blossom, Breathe, and Live on the front because this is a trip of empowerment for me. It's a 5-day retreat. I am going to be camping, so I'm arriving 5 days early, staying a day late. My longest solo camping trip and the furthest I've taken the camper by myself. Oops. There are 3 bead dangles within the larger dangle. And then there's a little cluster of charms here. The binding is temporary. I want to be able to take pages out and have them with me at the retreat and not take up a lot of table space with my book. And I don't know if the back's done yet, but it's done enough for now. The closure is a chocolate covered sari ribbon, sari silk ribbon. I put a flower on it because this is the seam where the 2 pieces of ribbon meet. Oh, I should show you something on the cover. So the crafting retreat that I'm going to is called the Compendium Society, and this is their logo. I need to remake this because that's alcohol ink on packaging tape, and I really covered up the logo. I need to change that so I can see that and make that a little bit bigger. Very, very excited about this retreat. I'll tell you a little bit about it as we get through the book. So instead of making a "This Journal Belongs to" tag for the inside of the front cover, I decided to make kind of like the inside of books. When you look at books and it says, you know, published in Chicago, Illinois by such and such publishing. Sometimes there's a little jacket that tells you about the book. I kind of combined all that into the front of this card, and it says, "Empowered Art is a story of stretching myself through a solo camping trip in southern PA, attending a retreat where strangers will become friends, and my creative abilities will be challenged, stretched, and twisted. A literal crafter book published with faith, creative risk, dreams, and hope." I did a little table of contents, and at the bottom I said, "Manufactured in the chaos of Literal Crafts Studios, first and only edition." This is a gel print I created, and in case you're curious, that shiny copper is Lunar Paste by Ranger. Hopefully you can tell what this is. They're supposed to be leather bookends. And it says Poe, Homer, Tolkien, that says S. King, Jane Austen, and this last one is Albom, A-L-B-O-M, Mitch Albom. And if you don't know who he is, look him up. He wrote a book that's a bestseller, and it's one of my favorite books ever. It's a super easy read. This is the welcome letter I received right after I registered for the retreat. It came in email, so I recreated it, printed it, distressed it. Love this page. Made another definition card. Collage I made. This I'm leaning towards, haven't made a decision, pocket, tuck, etc. I'm leaning towards kind of hinging it. I don't want to cover this up. I want to be able to see that collage. I'm not great with collage, and I think this came out good, and that's all paper I made. Accept who you are and revel in it. I'm a planner by nature. Printed out 2 calendar sheets, made little distressed Post-its, and this is my prep to be ready to go, both with the camper and prep for the retreat. Supply list that I recreated and printed on ledger paper. This is a belly band specific to the area we'll be in. So this is Campbelltown, PA. This is a larger portion of the map with an embossed compass. I'm going to tuck in the campground brochure, printed directions, so that when I lose GPS, I can still get there. And now we're going to shift to the second section of the book, and I went from fairly neutral to treating each page as its own individual entity. So I learned a lot about myself creatively doing this book, and one of the things I learned is I give myself artificial rules, so I tried to step away from that. And here I introduced this kind of teal and aqua color, another definition card. It says junk journaler, a maker who has many addictions, crossed out, collections of things to put in their handmade and altered books. Then there's 5 pages. Each page follows kind of the same design. There's a pocket, a number indicating what day of the retreat, and 2 custom library cards with decorated tabs. And I've never done these tabs before, and they were so much fun. In these 5 daily pages, I'm just gonna journal about my experience, maybe, people I've met, restaurants I went to, high level, maybe the names of techniques or things we did. This is the front of the building we're going to, Campbelltown Academy of Music and Arts. 2 more tabs. So I don't anticipate having a lot of time during the days of the retreats to write things down. But being able to take notes and remember the techniques and what we're learning is really important to me. And I have memory challenges that result from surgery that corrected a traumatic brain injury. So my plan is to use the next 2 signatures to write down technique details and take pictures of techniques as well. Before we get there, I want to tell you about blueberry dyed paper. And if you've never dyed blueberry paper before, I encourage you try it. And don't strain it. Leave the skins in. All of these dark little dots are blueberry skins. It leaves a very slight texture on the paper, and that paper is just gorgeous. It's a purpley blue. And I'm not covering that up. It's just too pretty to cover up. Cover page of my next signature. This is 3 pictures of my stash. A crafter's stash is a large collection of things that may or may not one day be used in projects. These next 2 signatures are very blank. And it is for me to write down the details of the techniques. So during the day at the retreat, I am just going to take very high-level notes and take pictures of the techniques as we go. And then in the evening, hopefully by campfires, I can really write out more robust notes. So in a month or 2 or a year, I can look back and be able to recreate some of what I learned. Here's something that I decided to do, and I'm going to do it in all my books, is incorporate just freestyle. So these are just marks I made with a acrylic paint marker. And I'm going to start to incorporate a little bit of me in every book, some kind of handwriting or something. So there's 2 signatures of blank pages. This page I'm altering or taking out completely. I don't like it for this book. No idea why I created it the way I did, but it's either going away or being completely transformed. This is a blouse I got thrifting for like 30 cents. And I got it because of this beautiful texture and the color, because I'm all about pink. And I hadn't found a way to use it in my books yet. And then I thought, why don't I sew it on coffee dyed paper? And I just love how that came out. So again, this is the second signature for taking notes on techniques. This last signature, I'm really hoping comes together for me, but it's dependent on the people that are at the retreat. So I'd like a group picture here, cast of characters, and then I set it up like a yearbook. So I'm hoping they will sign it, maybe leave a message, their contact information. I just think it would be such a neat keepsake from the retreat. Each page has the Compendium Society on it. And it's hard to see because I printed it fairly transparent so that people could write on here, but the logo is right here as well. These are little library book cards I made in case people want to write on those instead of write in the book. And I left that blank. I really like that. That's a gel print that I did. And that is all for my journal. And then I just have this little bag of extras that I'm bringing. I don't know how many pages I need for techniques, but I know I have to write down a lot for me to learn. So there's a few extra pages. I'll probably throw some more in, some paper clips. This I made. It could be a pocket or a tuck, another envelope. And then after the retreat, when I'm home, I will permanently bind the book, probably using a hidden spine. And then I will have just an awesome keepsake as well as reference as to how I made what I made during the retreat. I would love your feedback on this, and I hope you check back later in April to see the completely finished book, which I will flip through much quicker without telling you my story. Thanks so much, guys. Happy crafting.